the 49ers quietly made a big change. This big change, not a lot of people are talking about. I'm sure you might have noticed it, at least to some degree, but it's happening behind the scenes, and we need to elevate the conversation happening around this because I think it could be a big deal. Hit subscribe if you're looking for 49ers content like this. Really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. You hit that like button, that subscribe button. Those things matter in the YouTube algorithm. It's all computer science. I'll leave it for another day. But do let me know in the comments, on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a move you think the 49ers need to make right now to improve this team, to get this team more playoff ready, more Super Bowl run ready if you want to get real crazy with it. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being we just need more bodies because we got guys growing down and we need to replace these guys with other people. And 10 being we need a splash move. We got to make a big move. I'm seeing teams like the Dallas Cowboys considering a move for Max Crosby, and they're inquiring with the Raiders about Max Crosby. What are we doing, guys? Like, let me know. That's a 10 if that's where you're at. Let me know in the comments on that one on a scale of Max Crosby at 10 all the way down to, we just need more bodies in here. Let me know where you're at. I think the 49ers have shown they're capable of doing a lot with less, and that I feel like deserves a reward of them getting more opportunities, but also you need bodies. So go and get somebody prominent. For me, I'm at 7. I don't need it to be a 10 move. I don't need it to be an earth-shaking move. I don't like the way that Dallas Cowboys handle their books. Not interested in that. I would rather us look for a 5 to 10, a guy who's a game maker or who's a playmaker, a guy that helps your team out and definitely elevates what the team is capable of, but also doesn't kill you in the long-term financial department. But that's just where I'm at. Let me know what you think on that one. Let's get straight to the news. So Kyle Shanahan, he's been known, of course, for many things, one of which being that he employs a run-first offense. He has always been a run-first guy, goes back to the Mike Shanahan days. It's part of his philosophy. It's in his blood until he didn't. Recently, the 49ers have been much more pass-heavy. We saw a little bit last year when Christian McCaffrey went down. Jordan Mason came in and was able to run, and then Jordan Mason went down. And some of that, I think, had to do with the personnel issue. But a lot of it also has to do with the fact that Brock Purdy was playing a little bit of hero ball, and they were willing to let him try. So it is what it is, right? This year, we saw it a lot as well early on in the season, really struggling to run the ball. And a lot of times, Kyle Shanahan talked about it himself, that this comes down to the fact that you're in a game and you have to win. And if you're playing from behind, you just can't run the ball like that. You can't commit to the run game the way you would like to. So there's a lot of factors at play. Whatever the case is, it has been a problem, and things are starting to click. Look at this from Akash. Weeks 1 through 5, the 49ers were 28th in EPA per rush, 22nd in rush success rate. The last 2 weeks, the 49ers are 13th in EPA per rush and 11th in rush success rate. They found something out in the last 2 weeks. What is it? There are a lot of possibilities out there. Here's one of them. David Lombardi posted this today, saying that weeks 1 through 5, the 49ers zone rushing percentage was 61%. That seems about what I'd expect from Kyle Shanahan. However, the last 2 weeks, it's been 42%. So he flipped it. Now, you're not actually seeing more zone rushing than not. You flip that narrative completely. San Francisco has shifted to majority gap scheme runs the past 2 weeks. This is by far the biggest development of 2025 for Shanahan's offense, demonstrated ability to kickstart a vital part of the offense via adaptability. And when we're talking about that, there's another group of people that cannot go unmentioned in the run game, and that is the offensive line. So let's talk about the offensive line, starting with our tight end who came in the game, and that definitely had a big impact on the run. You've probably seen some stats floating around like this. Here's this one from Akash. Kittle on the field, 5.29 yards per carry, 54.8% success rate. Kittle off the field, 1.25 yards per carry, 12% success rate. You're seeing a drop-off of 4 yards per carry when Kittle's not on the field. You're seeing a drop-off of, what is that, 40%? 40% success rate when Kittle's not on the field, okay? So we got to give him a little bit of credit, but it's more than that. This offense as a whole, and I'm really looking at the offensive line and the wide receivers when I say this, but this offense as a whole, great point by Wayne Breezy, did not commit any penalties in their Week 7 matchup versus the Falcons. That was a big difference maker. The 49ers mind their P's and Q's. They were disciplined. They were organized. And defensively, there were a couple calls. One of them I don't like, a PI against Demo, but whatever. Offensively, you don't have your rookie Connor Colby making false start penalties. You don't have wide receivers out of position and confused and getting any penalties in that regard too. So there's a lot of benefit there when your offense just tightens things up just a little bit and is focused. I think that's definitely at play. But it's more than just the run game. Christian McCaffrey is officially number 3 right now in receptions. He's third most in receptions. Just a reminder, quick pause in the video. I want to tell you about a new partner I'm really excited about, and that is Chomps. I don't know if you've had one of these before. I was not a big beef stick fan growing up. My wife bought me some Chomps, and I absolutely love them. 0 grams of sugar, 10 grams of protein, 100 calories, fits perfectly into my diet and what I'm looking for. All grass-fed beef. It's solid and it tastes really good. I really wasn't a beef stick fan growing up, and now I am. I started this summer. I haven't told you guys this, but I started this summer at 205 pounds, really focusing on my diet this summer, trying to turn some things around. I'm down to 191 pounds right now at the end of summer, and these types of snacks are perfect fits for me. I've got a couple flavors here that I love. This is the original beef flavor, and then I have the smoky seasoned barbecue flavor right here. These are delicious, and they're great on-the-go snacks. You can throw them in your gym bag. You can put them in your backpack in your car. You can throw them in your desk at work, and they're fantastic. They're worth every single penny to me. You can find out more about them by clicking the link in my description to order some for yourself. But the big thing for me is it's a snack I don't feel guilty about. I love every second of it, the taste of it. I like the aftertaste of it, and I'm genuinely a diehard fan. I went from having never tried this before to being a diehard immediately, and that's not me just blowing smoke. I genuinely mean that. I'm telling you the truth. You should definitely consider checking out Chomps. I don't know if you knew this. Christian McCaffrey is a running back. I get it. We know how Kyle Shanahan likes to use Christian McCaffrey. We're not surprised that Kyle Shanahan wants to use Christian McCaffrey as a dual threat. Of course, any football coach in the NFL should want to use a guy like Christian McCaffrey as a dual threat. That's what makes him special. But we do have to recognize when players like Christian McCaffrey have so many receptions, they show up on stat charts with wide receivers. Right? That's something just to pay attention to. And it's receptions, not yards, which I think is also something to pay attention to. We're not talking about the fact that he's gaining as much yardage as wide receivers like we do with guys like George Kittle, for example. We're talking about the fact that he's getting the action of wide receivers. That's how much the offense is trying to run through him. In this stat, I should have probably blown this one up larger on the screen there, but I realize it's kind of hard to tell. At the very top of this stat is Christian McCaffrey. This is yards after catch. This is Yak right now. That's Christian McCaffrey at the very top of the list in yards after the catch. He's out on an island all by himself doing something unbelievable right now. And that's, again, through the air. That's through the air. That's Christian McCaffrey. So absolutely, the 49ers are doing something special with Christian McCaffrey right now. He's leading actual wideouts and slot yards per route run at 3.5. Here's the graphic for that. The green. I keep forgetting about the green screen thing. I got to probably figure that out there. But yeah, anyway, Christian McCaffrey's down there on the list because it's actually organized by yards. But you can see a dark blue 3.5 circled there next to Christian McCaffrey. That's the slot alignment. That's Christian McCaffrey leading the leads in yards per route run in the slot. So Christian McCaffrey is basically the best slot receiver right now in the NFL too. I mean, how many different stats do we need to throw at Christian McCaffrey to tell you how stinking good he is? He is so good. Well, Christian McCaffrey was asked about his pass catching ability. He said many answers like this before, but maybe a reminder for those of you who might not remember. I grew up in a household where my dad was a receiver. My brother was a receiver. That's his brother Luke, of course. It was always instilled in me from a young age to be a complete football player. The value of a yard is a yard. It doesn't matter how you get it. And Christian McCaffrey has embodied that reality for sure. I talked to you guys about the third down percentage and how unbelievable it is. The 49ers have been so good on third down conversions. And this stat blew my mind from Jordan Elliott. The 49ers offense, I don't know what's more impressive. Maybe you can comment below on this one. I don't know what's more impressive. The 49ers offense converting 47.5% of its third down attempts, which is second in the NFL. Already showed you that stat. Or the 49ers defense only allowing opponents to convert 35.4% of their third down attempts, which is eighth in the NFL. The 49ers defense is eighth in the NFL in how many third downs they let convert. That's pretty amazing. Either way, this is the reason why they're 5-2. There are a lot of tweets like this out there, by the way. Great tweet from Jordan Elliott. A lot of tweets out there right now, by the way, about how the fact that the 49ers are 5-2. You look at the snap count percentage for the rookies, and they're 5-2. You've got second highest rookie snap count in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. It's very close to the top. If it's not second, it's very, very close, like third. So it's either second or third, whatever. There are a lot of things that we should be paying attention to with how special this team is, considering what they've been up against, considering the lack of starters on this team and who have been injured, about the amount of rookies that have to actually step up and be on this team and actually contribute. That's pretty amazing. Well, it's time for the Texans. And there's a lot playing into this, but if you haven't heard, the 49ers originally opened up on Sunday against the Texans at 1.5 point underdogs. And after the Monday Night Football game, they then closed the night at 1.5 road, actually opened this morning, I should say, at 1.5 point road favorites against the Texans. So that little 3-point swing there has to do with Nico Collins, has to do with things like that. Also, I think just has to do with the fact that this offense, we saw them on Monday night. If you watched them, not great. Not great. We can get after this offense. And this is where the 49ers might be saying, in terms of how we approach this trade situation, I think we can get by with what we have this week if we have to. So if we don't see a big splash trade this week, I'm not totally surprised, because I do think the 49ers have a lot of talent. They have a lot of young talent, and they might just fancy themselves to go in there to Houston and take on this very, very weak offensive line with the guys that they have available. Without Bryce Huff is namely my point there. But anyway, this Texans game, if you look at the passing and rushing defense, so you have on the left vertical side, rush EPA per play allowed, and on the bottom across left to right, drop pack EPA per play allowed. Okay? So how do defenses handle it? I'm not looking for the 49ers right now, who don't look great on this chart. I'm looking for the Houston Texans on this chart. And if you see them, they're the team that's so far wide right now, they're stretching the graph to the right. That's how good they are right now in drop back. So in other words, when you're throwing the ball, their defense is very, very good, leading the league in drop pack EPA per play allowed. So that's Mac Jones, that's Kendrick Bourne, that's these guys who are going to be coming in there trying to take on a very good coverage, very good team in coverage, right? However, if you look at where they rank on the vertical, which would be their rush EPA per play allowed, they're actually below middle. So that's a good sign as you're trying to think of how do we get after this team. I think it's going to look a whole lot like what we just saw on Sunday. I think it's going to look very similar to how we played Atlanta. Granted, it's not a home game, but I think similar kind of play style in what they're hoping to do. We're getting after the quarterback. Their offensive line is trash, one of the worst in the league compared to Atlanta, who actually had a pretty decent offensive line. I think this team can still get after the quarterback. And in the run game, in what you're trying to do, that's the way you're going to attack this team on offense, because That's where they're giving up yards right now. They're not giving up a lot of yards through the air. So or at least not giving up a lot of points through the air, I should say. So I think that's where the 49ers will be a little bit run heavy again. They'll have that same mentality, that same energy that we just saw this weekend. That's how they're going to be approaching this game. And they're basically going to say, we're going to run at you, try and stop us. I truly believe that's how it's going to go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday.